no matter how you slice it, that's a lousy case. I mean, if you're going to bring that to a panel and put it in front of an arbitrator and try to argue that it's okay to show up late every day, you're not going to win that argument.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the member's best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston. And, throughout our careers, I would say just about everybody out there has been late once or twice. But then you have the habitual people that are always late. And we're going to go through like every step of the way of how this can end up costing you your job if you never correct it. So let's just say, Greg, that, January, I've been late like 3 times and the company gives me a warning letter. And then, I'm late a couple more times in February. I get an intent to suspend. I file on it, don't think anything about it, move on with my life. And then I'm late one more time. And then the company gives me an intent to term. And there's a hearing about it, a center level hearing, but the company and the union cannot come to an agreement on it. And I'm a little shocked because I didn't think the company would ever actually take this all that serious. And they had a hearing, and now I'm a little worried because I'm on an intent to term, and they're saying that the company wants to take my job, and they want to have this hearing. Now I am told I need to be present for a local level hearing. Now, when I show up, what should I expect?
So when you get into a local level hearing, you're going to have the labor manager on the company side, your center manager, and maybe not your division manager, depending on circumstance. And then on your side, you will have your steward and your business agent. In a discipline case, the company is the moving party, so it's going to be up to them to present their case first. They are going to have your attendance record, and they're going to give it to the labor manager, who may or may not have seen it before. Usually they pretend they haven't, but they have. And so they are going to start to ask you questions, either trying to give you a chance to explain yourself or get you to, admit that you are just showing up late and you don't really care. Either way, that's really the tool they have in their arsenal. And that's what they're going to start with. And then it's going to fall to us from there to try to make the case as to why you shouldn't face the discipline they want to give you based on your attendance.
Now, let's say that I am habitually late and I'm in this scenario. What type of stuff will I hear from the labor manager when I'm in there?
So the labor manager will explain the process to you. It's a local level hearing and who moves first and all that stuff. And then they're going to bring up your attendance. If it's your habitual offender, you're probably going to have some pretty stellar numbers that they can use. And they will say, well, according to this, you've been late 135 times in the last 12 months. You've been absent X number of times. What's the issue? And they may throw it straight to you, or they may try to get you to understand or get you to admit you understand the importance of showing up to work on time. Do you understand why you have to be here? Do you understand the impact of you being late? We have to have supervisors cover your pull or cover your route or whatever it is, or run your air. And then we get a grievance because our supervisors are working, et cetera, et cetera. So, they're on the attack because it's, again, their case to make before we come up with a defense. So I would expect them to come at you.
Now, when I'm in this scenario, I'm trying to think of ways of how I can defend myself because honestly, they're coming at me with these numbers. Let's just say I'm late, 45 times in a 90-day period, and I have these like stellar numbers. I'm trying to think of ways I can defend myself when I'm in there. I mean, is there any defense I can use to make it so I'm not look so bad?
I wouldn't say there's a defense. There can be circumstances that can sort of explain why you're late. So, if you're having issues you got to get your kids to school, or you're a single parent, or you've got to take care of your mom before you leave, or something like that. Uh, obviously that's a different set of circumstances to I just can't wake up when my alarm goes off, or I just don't. I do my best, but I don't really see what the importance is when I'm late. It may be transportation issues, people that don't have a car that rely on Uber. We run into all the time here in the city. The Uber driver's late all the time, or they blow me off. And those circumstances in some cases can be covered under FMLA, so you're protected and you simply have to file for it. And in other cases, there may be sympathy for the situation, but at the end of the day, you have to show up to work on time. And so a reasonable explanation may buy you some time to fix it, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to fix whatever's causing the issue.
Now, let's say we had the entire hearing. I mean, they have an intent to term. They've unquestionably said that they want to take my job, and they've painted me out to be the worst employee they've ever hired. And they say they go down the laundry list of all the discipline they've given me, and they said, hey, here's your warning letter, which can lead to intent to discharge. You never took this serious. Then you're late again and again and again. You got a suspension and could end up being discharged down the road. You never took that serious, again and again and again. Now we're in intent to discharge. I mean, my heart's racing. I'm in the office. I don't even know what's going to happen with my future. What scenarios have you seen as far as what the company is willing to deal with?
Well, you're definitely in a bad spot. If you don't have an explanation, or you've been given that many chances and haven't changed your behavior, there's not a lot of argument that we can make from our side. We have obviously discipline of any kind falls under just cause. So, they have to treat everybody equally and fairly. The argument can be made if, there's some one people, whatever, that have worse attendance records than you. The case could be made that they're not being equal and fair. But really, no matter how you slice it, that's a lousy case. I mean, if you're going to bring that to a panel and put it in front of an arbitrator and try to argue that it's okay to show up late every day, you're not going to win that argument. And again, the circumstances can be, if there's something that the company didn't necessarily know about, or whatever, they may give you a break of like, well, we understand that you don't have a car, but you got to come up with a solution. We'll give you some time. We'll knock it down, or we'll put it on hold, or hold the grievance in abeyance pending the next month to see if you're not late for another month or something like that. But at the end of the day, if it's not a great case to make, and it's one of those things that I think people let go because as we know with this company, when they need bodies, they're sort of all forgiving, and more often than not, they need bodies. But when you ignore that discipline repeatedly and let it pile up, when the time comes when they don't need bodies, they're going to pull the trigger on you, and you're going to have a tough time defending yourself.
Yeah, and another thing you need to keep in mind is if you ever take a deal where they say, hey, listen, we'll lump all this discipline into a 1-day suspension. If you go down the road and you continuously are still late after that, the next panel hearing you have, they will bring up all the chances they've given you, and which makes it even worse looking for you. So just keep that in mind. I mean, this is a serious thing, and you can seriously lose your job over this. And we don't have a lot of defense when it comes to this. So hopefully this video does help somebody out there. So Greg, thanks for coming on, and shout outs. Who do you have shout out?
Again, I'm going to have to shout out my brothers and sisters at Republic Services. They've been on strike for going on 3 months now. This company is just unbelievable. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to meet. They don't care about the members. They don't care about the public. They don't care about the bevy of political figures who've demanded that they come back to the table. They refuse to meet the local standards that have been set by other contracts in the trash industry, and they really just don't care. And so, our members are still out on the line. They're still staying strong, and they're going to stay out there until they get what they deserve. But this company is just there's something else.
Absolutely. And, if you guys get a minute, there's something I've always wanted to hit on is the Amazon Teamsters. They're on Facebook, Instagram, everything. Follow that. Give them some words of encouragement. There's some people out there that leave like shitty, negative comments for people that are really putting themselves out there to try to organize Amazon, which we need to absolutely organize one of the other delivery companies out there to continue the stuff we have currently going on in UPS. So if you haven't done so also, Teamster Media Hub on Facebook, Greg Kerwood runs it. But that's all I got, everybody. Love you, and I'll catch you next time.